New Jersey Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia published detailed notes from the briefing on social media for her constituents. In a tweet this week, she wrote the following: "We know nothing, period. To state that there is no known or credible threat is incredibly misleading, and I informed all officials of that sentiment. At this point, I believe military intervention is the only path forward. There will be no answers in the absence of proactivity." Joining me now is Assemblywoman Fantasia and Assemblyman Mike Inganamort. Both attended this briefing at the New Jersey State Police headquarters and are asking for more transparency on the drones, and both have personally witnessed the drones. I'll begin with you, Assemblywoman Anastasia. Tell me exactly what you saw.
Well, the first thing I saw at a briefing was complete government ineptitude. But if you're talking about what I saw at in the airspace above Sussex County and above District 24, I've witnessed two. One I've seen in my hometown, hovering over my home and our neighborhood. But the second one was a bit more troubling. What I saw was I was driving towards a corridor that leads directly into Route 80, which is a national highway. Now, please keep in mind that we are prohibited from flying drones over heavily trafficked areas. And this drone was flying very low and headed directly along that corridor towards Route 80. So that's very, very concerning to me.
Assemblyman Inganamort, surely the feds know what's going on, feds loosely described. Otherwise, we're wasting a fortune in the Department of Defense.
Well, clearly they don't, Michael, because in John Kirby's statement the other day, he stated that most of these sightings are not drones. In fact, they're airplanes. That specifically and clearly contradicts the confirmations we've gotten from military bases here in New Jersey, including one of the largest, very close to the district that Assemblywoman Fantasia and I represent, Picatinny Arsenal. Picatinny Arsenal has confirmed the sightings of these drones night after night. You don't have to take our word for it, although I saw 3 last night above my home. That tends to be the average night after night. I'm in western Morris County, which has been ground zero for this situation, and we have been inundated with drones for 4 weeks now. We're a month into this. We hear from John Kirby at long last, who says, don't worry, they're mostly airplanes. Haven't heard from President Biden on this once, certainly not Secretary Mayorkas. We are crying out for federal leadership here because we are long overdue for action.
Assemblywoman, by the way, apologies. I think I misstated your last name. And with a name like Smerconish, I hate to do that. Donald Trump is right then, right? Donald Trump is right. If you really don't know, then shoot one of them down.
That has been our battle cry for quite a period of time. And also, you cannot tell me that our military does not have the capabilities to safely ground one of these. We're not talking Wild West, someone grabs their 12 gauge and blows it out of the sky. We're talking about a controlled military operation to take this down, because things are only getting worse. In the past 30 minutes, I read that the New Jersey Globe broke that there was an airport in Orange County, New York last night, Stewart Airport, that was closed down due to one of these drones. Now, what happens when this happens during the holiday season around Newark Airport, around LaGuardia? What happens?
Assemblyman, it occurs to me, I'm sure you're going to disabuse me of this, but now we're all focused on the sky in a way we otherwise would not be. Is it possible that people just have a heightened sense of awareness and are looking for things, and consequently the reports multiply, and that maybe if there were this kind of a fixation in Iowa tonight, they'd be seeing the same thing?
Well, you're right that I will disabuse you of that notion, because these drones are real. As I said earlier, you don't have to take my word for it. Picatinny Arsenal confirmed it. We see these drones night after night. We may vary on the number, on the size, on the frequency, on the speed, but we do have visual confirmation from our military bases here in New Jersey that these drones are present. They seem to be especially concentrated in northwest New Jersey, though at this point they're all over the state. And I just reiterate my call for federal leadership here. New Jersey is the 11th biggest state, home to 9 million people. Seems like all 9 million of us are talking about this morning, noon, and night. This is not made up. This is not exaggerated. It's been confirmed, and we want President Biden to take some action here.
Okay, a final response from each of you. Assemblywoman Fantasia, I'll begin with you. Surely you have a theory. What is it?
You know, there is no way that this is the result of hobbyists. These are not $30 drones you buy your kid off Amazon. We know that these are highly sophisticated, as evidenced even by our New Jersey State Police Colonel, Pat Callahan, where their helicopters went up to try to do surveillance of these. So we know that these are highly sophisticated. They evade our current technology. And at this point, we have no time for a wishy-washy response from a wishy-washy governor and a wishy-washy president. We need action. We need it yesterday. And I hope we don't have to wait until President Trump is sworn in mid-January. But my fear is that might be the case.
Assemblyman, what's your theory?
Well, I don't have a theory, but I have a hope and a prayer. You know, whether this is the good guys or the bad guys, to use simple terms, I hope and I pray that it's the good guys. Because if this is the federal government, America's military, conducting some type of an operation with some type of a national security rationale or imperative, I think most New Jerseyans would give them, you know, a lot of deference at this point. If that's not the case, and if this has some sort of malicious intent behind it, it's time to take them down.
Yeah, I keep saying as I'm watching the briefings, we can handle the truth. Just tell us what's going on in the skies over New Jersey. I appreciate you both. Thank you each for being here.